Guys, Uncle Grizzly here with you with another episode of Uncle Grizzly's Country Corner. Now, some of y'all know I've got some videos showing some neat old Zebco reels. Well, today I'm bringing you one that I promised to have done about a month ago, but you know how life goes. You try to make lemonade and it throws apples at you. But I've got one here that I found one day out walking around one of the local lakes. And I find it pretty interesting because I've never heard of this one. But what we've got here today is a Zebco 66. I've done some research on this, and I found out that the 66 was made from 1956 roughly to about 1964. Then in 1964 they come out with the Zebco 202 to replace this. So this neat little reel happens to predate the Zebco 202s. Really interesting little design. I mean, it's nothing real fancy. It does have bait click nice and smooth, but you don't unscrew it like a bunch of reels do. You got this little clip right here. You lift up on it and your front slides off. Lift up on the back side of it and the back slides off. Don't look too bad inside the back there. It is kind of dusty and crusty. We'll get that taken care of here in a little bit. Nose cone the same way. I mean, typical dirt. Here's the inside. Very simple. You got your bait click anti-reverse lever here. It's got 3 positions. I don't understand. I don't know why it's got 3 positions. I haven't been able to find that out. But all the way up, you don't have the bait click, but you can also spin it backwards. Bring it all the way down. You get your click and your reverse lock. Knob is your drag. I will be re-oiling this, but I won't be able to take it out because if you see right there, we got a little roll pin holding it in, and at the moment I don't have anything to take that out properly, so why screw up something that still works? I've just got some light machine oil we'll throw in there, try to loosen that up. Now before I take the front off, I want to let y'all know I have already taken the spool out of it. That sucker was froze in there and I almost didn't get it out. I just about gave up on it because I didn't want to damage it. But they're just like most of your typical reels. To take it off, you grab a hold of it, grab your crankshaft or your crank handle and give it a good twist, and you'll hear it pop, and then it just unscrews. But look at all of that going on inside there. Most of your reels that are typical modern reels, when you push your button on the back to cast it, this piece will pop out a little bit. This one, it doesn't. You've got a little needle pin that pokes out through that center mount. Come on, focus. If I can get this to focus here. There we go. you can see down in there where this rod right here protrudes down into the center hole. Well, that point comes out through there, as you see, pushes up on this rod, which works that whole mechanism, and it pulls your pickup pin down into this hole. And when it's on here, this will pop back up, and you got this little spring here that helps keep a little bit of tension on your line as you're casting out. And then once you cast it out, you spin it, everything catches on these pieces here, and that'll snap back up, and your line pickup comes in, and this drops down out of the way. But what we're going to do today, we're going to take this apart, clean these gears up where I can put it or get grease in. I've got my reel grease, and I've got some lightweight sewing machine oil. Come on, focus. Yeah, there you go. Some lightweight Dritz Zoom Spout sewing machine oil. I don't know if you can still find this stuff around, but I'm sure you can find it, stuff similar to it. I've had this bottle for several years. Or you could even just use some 3-in-1 oil on these. But it's very simple to take this apart. You want to hold or push down on this washer right here in the center, compress that spring, then on the back side take and just kind of push up on that point, and you see how that slid up. Once you do that, you can kind of get in there and get a hold of it and wiggle it out, work that spring and washer down over it. Give it a little twist. Up, it popped out. Get it to focus here. There's your spring, your washer, and your pin. Now once that is all out, you can push in on this threaded piece here, and it'll pop that center gear out, slide it out, and there you go. And you look at this, as old as this is, that shaft is still in real good shape, and those teeth are in real good shape. There is some wear on them, but not a lot. Now, the next part we want to do, you got your old square nut on there, and I'm trying to do all of this stuff around the camera, so that's why you see me kind of fumbling around a little bit. But loosen that square nut, take it off, pull your crank handle off, and then your main fly gear just slides right out. Slides out of that housing right there. Get it to focus again here. And you see this one, it does show wear, but all in all, come on, focus. All in all, it is still in real good condition. The teeth on this gear, they do show wear, but not as bad as some stuff I've seen. we're going to clean all this gunk up, and then we're going to get onto this part, try to clean this up some, get rid of a bunch of this stuff, throw some oil in here on the slide bar, get some oil down here into your drag, and try to get some in under this pivot point here and get it cleaned up. I just remembered I forgot one of my most important things. Give me just a couple of minutes. I'll be right back and we'll get back on this. Okay, we're back. I've got my WD-40 I'm going to use to break that grease up and clean it. Use a little stainless steel wire brush to gently brush it. And I got me a towel down here to kind of help protect my work surface. Get just a little bit in there. Looks like I'm gonna have to get me another bag of, or another can of WD-40 soon. We're just gonna take and scrub around this, try to get in between those teeth really good. Kind of get this back side just a little bit here. Ow! I know. I'm supposed to hit the part, not the finger with the, or thumb with the bristles. Give this a little wipe off, see what it looks like. Looks pretty good to me. Take and give this shaft just a little bit of a scrub down. I've got another can of WD-40 around here somewhere. I just don't know where it's at. Oh well, guess next payday it's another can of WD-40 on the shopping list. While I'm working on this, I would like to give a couple of shout outs. First off, I'd like to send a shout out to Henry Shy Outdoors. Look him up here on YouTube. He does a lot of camping and fishing videos. Pretty nice fella. He found one of my older videos very helpful and gave me a shout out, thanking me for it, and I would like to just give him a shout out as a thank you for my shout out. Now that's looking pretty good, but I will leave Henry's channel name, and if I can get it, I'll leave a link to his channel down here somewhere, maybe even up there. If not, it'll at least be down in the description.
Okay, get a swig of coffee here.
Oh yeah, good old Mama Grizz coffee. Thank you, baby.
You're welcome.
Okay, now in this part, I'm gonna try and clean this up a little bit. It looks like it's got some, I guess that's paint on that. Yeah, it looks mostly like it's paint overspray, but let's see if we can get a little more WD-40 on there and see if any of that'll come off. Yeah, that's all mostly paint overspray on that. Kind of scrub in around that drag area, or drag mechanism a little bit. We'll hit this side of the drag. And then you just turn that, and as you turn your thumb screw, this brass block moves up, putting tension on the spring, which hits this little brass pawl right here. And as more tension gets put on it, it'll grip the inside. Come on, focus. Thank you. It'll grip the inside of the spool here. And that's what gives you your drag on this reel. And then the notches on the back here of the spool, in case it does slip, they just snap right over that. And let's see here. Trying to keep it in frame, but I'm also trying to look around the camera to do this. So, pardon me if I happen to slip out of frame. Now, what we're going to do, gotta get a vape.
We're going to go ahead and take our
Main crankshaft. Got this little bellows type container of reel grease. I'm going to squeeze just a little bit. Down into the hole there for the crank. And as we put it in, I'm going to try to rotate it. Try to work some around down in there. Come on, focus. There we go. And give that a little spin, work it up and let it slide up and down, work some of that grease around in there. And then we're going to take the center piece, spurt just a little bit of grease. You can see it in there. And drop that in, give it a little bit of a twist as it goes. Take that little bit of grease, and instead of wasting it, we're going to drop it in there. Give just a little bit more. And this is where the fun part comes in. Get my pliers out here and give this washer a quick little clean up. Now what you want to do with putting this back together, the end of this, I'm going to poke it, the end right here towards the point kind of flares out just a very little bit. So slide your washer on, and then your spring will slide up or slide up on it, but you don't want to shove it all the way up here to this neck. You want to kind of keep it down a little bit so that that washer will clear the edge of the gear teeth on that flywheel. Get it in there like that, and then just push it down. Work it a little bit, get that grease going in there. And then once we get the spool and the take-up bail put on, that will provide the resistance for that spring to pop that pin all the way back out. Okay, let's get a little bit of oil in here on this drag. We're going to get just a couple little drops down in there. Let's see how turn that, see how it works, see if that helps loosen it up some. Oh yeah, that feels a lot better. Still kind of stiff, but heck, for being roughly 50 years old, 50 to 54 years old, yeah, I think you'd be a little stiff too. Okay. Now on this, they've got it marked to show which way the line winds on. So you want to put that facing out and put these notches, come on, focus, and put these notches towards the body of the reel. Make sure your drag pawl is up out of the way. we're going to put that arrow up towards the top, like that. And then you snap it on there. You heard how that snapped. Now this little piece right here, you can get a hold of it, or get something where you can push on it, and that pops out just like that to help hold that spool on. And we'll get that all that put down or back in there. You gotta get your gear or your gear teeth lined up. Hold that. Before we do that, let's go ahead and dribble just a little bit of oil in here and work all these pivots and stuff. Make sure we got it lubed up to where it'll work work really good for us. Because I do plan on taking this and sticking it on a rod and taking it out and use it. And while I'm doing this, I'll give another shout out to Discover the Finger Lakes. James does a real good job going around the Finger Lakes area up in New York, or New York State. And what he does is he does hiking trails, some museums, some nature areas, stuff like that. He goes out, either rides his bike or goes walking, hiking the trails. He videos it and shares everything with the rest of us, so that those of us that aren't in the area or have the opportunity to travel to that area get an opportunity to take and look and see what kind of beautiful areas they've got up there in New York. So I'll include his channel name and try to get a link to his channel put in the description as well. And y'all go check them out. And when you do check them out, be sure to like and subscribe to their channels. And drop them a comment. Let them know that Uncle Grizzly sent you. We're looking here now. We've got everything all put back together. I mean, this. Oops, didn't get it tightened down enough. Okie doke, come on. Oh yeah, might help if I push that gear back down. You know, it'd be easy for me to edit that out where you don't see it, but hey, what better way to show that we're human? There we go, that ought to be on there good now. Let's looks and sounds good to me. Need to throw a little bit of grease on these gears right here. Just put a little bit on there like that. And if you'll watch, right in here, as I'm spinning it, you can see that grease sticking and spreading around. Okay, let's throw the back cover back on here. You got a little tab right there, and you got a little notch right in there. You line those up, line your opening for your crank, slide it together, hook that in there, then on this side snap it in, and there you go. Let's see if I can get it around here where you can see the, there's that pickup pawl, and here's where that spring comes out. Now watch, I'm going to hold this. So you push the button, your pickup pawl drops, this comes out, that's what holds your line while you're getting ready to cast. And then when you let go to cast, that drops back down. And then you turn this around, and then comes back around to this side, it pops out. Here, let's show that again. Pickup pawl drops, line holder comes out, cast, let go of the button, yeah, let go of the button, the line holder drops down, pickup pawl is still down, and when you turn your crank, right there, it pops back out to pick up your line. Easy peasy, nice and cheesy. Very simple design. Tell you what, I'm looking forward to taking this one out and having fun with it. Once again, you got another notch on this side. Another little peg right there. Angle it down in and get that peg to catch. Then on this side, snap it in, and there you go. It's the Zebco 66 from 1956 to approximately 1964. This one is in rough condition on the outside. I know a lot of guys would take and they'd clean this up, they'd repaint it and everything. I don't really like doing that because this tells the story of this reel. So, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope it helps you out with some reels in the future. If you liked it, please give a thumbs up if it helped out, or even if you've run across something like this before. Leave me a comment down below. I love reading comments. I try to get back to them as quick as I can. And for those of you that will do it, please go visit Henry Shy Outdoors and discover the Finger Lakes here on YouTube. Leave them a thumbs up, give them a hi, let them know that Uncle Grizz sent you, and we'll catch you next time. Have fun, stay safe, and go catch the big ones.